Hey, what's up? French onion soup is a perfect cold weather food, but traditional recipes for it take a really long time to make. And unless you want to throw down a whole day and a whole bunch of work, it's usually not that good. But today we're gonna be making a recipe for French onion soup that is light on labor, but heavy on flavor. It's cheesy, it's salty, it's sweet. It's everything you love about FOS. Real quick, I've been thinking about this a lot, and for me to have perfect French onion soup, you have to hit on 5 details to make the laborious process of cutting and caramelizing a million onions worth it. Number 1, a very flavorful, stick to your lips meat broth. For me, I'm using beef bones today because I'm a beef boy. Number 2, slowly cooked, perfectly caramelized onions. We don't want anything burnt. We definitely don't want bitter French onion soup. 3, hard-broiled, funky cheese with a lot of stretch to it. 4, rustic, toasty bread that's saturated in broth and still has a little bit of crispness to it. And number 5, it can't be a lot of work. If you have all those 5 things together, you've got my attention. Now, perfect French onion soup is gonna start with the broth. So to make this broth, I've got 3 different types of cow's bones here. I'm starting with 3 pounds of beef shanks. These have tons of cartilage and tons of connective tissue that's gonna melt into our soup and give it great body. Behind that, I've got 2 pounds of beef femur bones. These have a lot of marrow, and that is gonna bring a ton of good beef fat flavor to this soup. And then finally, 1 pound of ground beef. And that's because meat is actually what makes stock taste good. Most people think it's bones, but meat is usually what's attached to bones, and that's what brings all the flavor. Once all 3 of these products are laid out on sheet trays, I'm gonna throw them in a 450-degree oven and roast them for 20 minutes. While those roast, let's get to the onion part of this French onion soup. For that, I've got 5 pounds of plain yellow onions here. Don't go with vidalias. The first time I made this soup, it was candy sweet, and it was because I used vidalia onions. Damn vidalias, why are you so sweet? As you can see, I'm just giving these onions a classic chop and peel, taking off the top, taking off the bottom, and then I'm gonna make sure to cut them pole to pole. Once everything's peeled, we're gonna cut these crosswise, maintaining that north-south orientation, and we're gonna cut them about 1/4 inch thick. The reason we're cutting these pole to pole is because in my experience, cutting them this way makes them melt into the background of the soup a little bit better. A cross-cut onion holds onto its texture for longer, it's a little bit snappy, and that's just not what we want for beautiful French onion soup. Okay, once all these onions are sliced pole to pole, we're gonna grab a large, deep cooking vessel. In this case, it's my 6.5 quart Dutch oven. I'm gonna glug in about 15 grams or 2 tablespoons of olive oil to lube up the bottom. Then I'm gonna drop in the onions, and on top of that, hit it with a whole stick or 115 grams of whole butter. Behind that, 15 grams of salt, then the lid goes on, and I'm gonna move this over to the oven and now check on my beef stuff. And it's all roasty at this point, so I'm gonna take them out. Then turn the oven down to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, load in the Dutch oven, and we're gonna check back in 1 hour. So to actually make this stock, we're gonna grab a pressure cooker. I'm gonna load in the bones one at a time here, and make sure to come back and deglaze these sheet trays. I put about 1/2 cup of water on there, and I'm gonna use my wooden spoon to scrape up all those nice fondy brown bits. And look how nice this is. Mucho flavor, you can tell already. It already kind of looks like beef stock. Okay, once I got both of these trays loaded into the pressure cooker, I'm gonna top that off with 5,000 grams of water, or just until the fill line on my pressure cooker. By the way, feel free to use store-bought beef stock or any other homemade stock that you have on hand. You're gonna need 2,000 grams total for this soup recipe. I'm making a double batch here so that I can freeze half and make French onion soup again in the future. Now, the lid goes on. I'm gonna pressure cook this for 2 hours, and if you're doing this on the stovetop instead of a pressure cooker, I'd say 4 to 6 hours is best. Okay, 1 hour later, now it's time to check on our onions, and as you can see, they're starting to melt just a bit, but they're definitely not caramelized at all. On the stovetop, it would have taken 35 to 40 minutes of nearly constant stirring over low heat just to get to this point. Go ahead and scrape up any brown bits that are stuck to the side of the pot, make sure that gets stirred back in, and then we're gonna load the Dutch oven back into the oven, this time with the lid cracked, and we're gonna cook for another hour and 45 minutes or so, but we're gonna come back and stir that halfway. Don't forget to stir. I was taking a nap the first time I tried to film making this soup, and I thought I could skip the midway stir, and guess what? It burnt. It burnt really bad. I got punished for taking a nap. Now, it's been 2 hours of pressure cooking and my beef broth is ready to go. As you can see, it's nice and beefy looking. It's got tons of body from all the connective tissues in those shanks, and it's got a really nice light brown color to it from the roasting that we did. Now, we're gonna strain this stock through a fine mesh strainer, or what I would call a chinois, into a large container. Be careful when moving around large amounts of hot liquids here. I spilled a few quarts of hot boiling beef juice on my socks a few years ago, and I had to go to urgent care. Just a little PSA here, you guys. Don't try and be a hot shot like your boy B. When it comes to hot beef liquid, pay attention. Once that's all strained, I'm gonna remove some of the beef fat from the top of this. A little beef fat's gonna be great on top of our soup and give us nice, deep, beefy flavor, but obviously this is a gratuitous amount of fat. So to get rid of this, I'm gonna grab a large ladle and start scooping off of the top. The actual pro move here when skimming stock is to gently swirl the stock in a circle like this. The fat then gets pushed to the outside of this vessel, and it makes it much easier to scoop off, and you end up not scooping away as much good, usable broth. Once that's skimmed, we're gonna set that aside, and now it's time to check back on my onions. These have been roasting for 1 hour and 45 minutes, and I did stir them halfway through that. And there's some nice color starting to creep in on the sides, and that's perfect. We're gonna add in 50 grams or about a half cup of water here, and we're gonna deglaze this pot and scrape down any of that crusty caramelized stuff into the mix. Okay, now we're gonna finish this soup by caramelizing the onions on the stove top the old-fashioned way. They're about 80% of where they need to be, and we're gonna take that last 20% with hot heat on top of the oven. After about 3 to 4 minutes of cooking these on the stove top, the bottom should start to glaze up and get dark onion vibes like this. And I'm gonna deglaze this again for the second time with 50 grams of water. I'm using a wooden spoon to get all that dark oniony goodness off the bottom of the pot. As you can see, we're already significantly darker than when we started, and we're getting close to that almost purple deep onion color. All total, I'm gonna glaze and reglaze this pot 3 times, letting that liquid cook down each time, and that should take about 15 to 20 minutes depending on your pot and how hot your stove is. After that second deglazing and before the third one, I'm gonna make sure I have a few things ready to go to finish this soup. For that, I need 4 to 5 sprigs of thyme and 2 bay leaves, 25 grams of Worcestershire, 5 grams of black pepper, 8 grams of salt, and 120 grams of dry sherry cooking wine. The sherry's going in first, so I'm gonna grab that and head back to the pot. This is gonna be the 3rd time I've let this onion caramel fond build up on the bottom of this pot, and I'm gonna deglaze it for the 3rd and final time with this dry sherry. From there, I'm gonna stir it up and cook off the alcohol for 2 minutes. After that 2 minutes, there we go. We've got really dark, super melted, perfect caramelized onions, except no subs here, you guys. The real deal is just so worth it. Next goes in the Worcestershire. I'm gonna stir that in, then the pepper, the salt, the bay leaf and thyme, and then finally 2,000 grams of our beefy stock. I'm gonna bring this back up to a simmer, pop a lid on it, and let that bubble away over low heat for about 25 to 30 minutes. While that simmers, we gotta talk about garnishes. For that, I've got a loaf of my no-knead sourdough. I did a vid on that process a few months back, and I'm pretty happy with the result. I will link to that video in the description if you're curious on using this bread. So I've opted to implement a crouton situation as my soup topper here instead of the traditional slice of baguette. I've never really liked how baguette slices just kind of float on top of the soup like a raft, and all I've got is a spoon to break it up, and it just doesn't work. Also, I really like the sourdough here instead of a yeasty baguette because the sourdough actually has some natural acidity, and that's going to be a great balance to all the sweetness from those caramelized onions. Once I've got a half of a 1 kilo loaf of sourdough cubed into 1-inch cubes, I'm going to throw them into a bowl, glug in some olive oil, strong pinch of salt, strong pinch of garlic powder, toss, toss, toss. Then I'm going to lay them on a little baby sheet tray, throw them in a 350-degree oven, and bake them until they're nice and toasty and golden, about 20 minutes. Now for the second garnish, we've got to talk about cheese. And for this soup, I've got a duo of cheeses here. I've got a funky cheese, in this case a classic French Gruyere, and I got a melty cheese, in this case thick sliced provolone. I'm gonna give the Gruyere a quick grate on the largest hold sides of my box grater real quick, and that's that. Gruyere is an absolute legend. It's a true miracle. It's a perfect pairing for French onion soup. I'm gonna set those cheeses aside and then check back on my croutons. It's been 20 minutes and they've dried out quite a bit. They've taken on some color and they're super crisp. They're actually almost rip your mouth apart crisp, but that's the goal. Once these are saturated with some brothy soup, they're still gonna hold up and have some bite to them. And finally, now it's time to check the soup. Nice and bubbly 30 minutes later, as you can see, and I'm gonna scoop out that bay leaf and thyme real quick before we finish the soup. Now's a good time also to taste for salt and pepper. I did make the soup 3 times leading up to this, so I'm pretty confident you should be really close on the seasoning if you followed the recipe, but it also never hurts to check. Okay, now to finish this soup, grab a soup crock. I got mine on Amazon and I will link below if you're curious, but yeah, the vessel is mucho important when it comes to FOS. It's not only about classic aesthetics, but it's also the edibility, because once we load the whole thing up with nice toasty croutons and then shredded Gruyere, the sliced provolone is going to fit perfectly over the opening of the crock. It's going to give us a perfectly caramelized cheese top to this classic soup. Once the provolone's on there, I'm going to load this soup under a very hot broiler for about 20 to 40 seconds, depending on how hot your stuff is. And finally, here we go. We got an amazing, bubbly, melty, cheesy, toasty French onion soup. The blend of cheeses is stretchy and creamy and just a little bit funky. The croutons are soaked, but still just a little crisp. And the broth itself is peppery, it's salty, and it's just a perfect amount of sweet. You can see the globs of buttery beef fat sitting in there, floating on top, just waiting to stick to your lips. And my entire life smells like beef and onions at this point, and I'm okay with that. Let's eat this thing. Before I get out of here, if you guys like this video, please consider giving it a like. The like button is right over here somewhere. And if you like hearing me talk about food, there's a couple more videos going on over there. Maybe give one of those a click. As always, guys, thank you so much for your time and attention. Thank you for sticking around, and we'll see you next time.